Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, I want to take a look at AWS Backup. So AWS Backup is a centrally managed place to manage your backups for many different services. There's a few ways that we can get started utilizing this service. We can go ahead and create a backup plan directly, but if we go over to, what is it, like dashboard, it should give us options here, yeah, for on-demand backup. And so this is one of the easier ways to work with it. If you need to work within a framework because of compliance, you can go ahead over here. We'll just take a look at this for this. And so what we could do is go ahead and create a framework, and you'll notice right away that it's showing a bunch of controls and things that you would apply for that framework. But let's keep it simple here, and let's go ahead and do an on-demand backup. So I'm going to go over to here, and notice right away that we can specify the resource we want to back up. And a DynamoDB is a great idea for a backup. So what I'm going to do is go over to DynamoDB and make a table specifically for this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new DynamoDB table. So let's say create my DDB table fun. Doesn't matter what you call it, but put some numbers here on the end. I'll just say PK. I don't want an SK here today. I'm going to leave it with the defaults. We'll go ahead and create that table. And I'm going to just fill in some data into that table when it's done, okay? All right, so I think my table's created. I just deleted some of my other ones. They're all junk tables. And what I'm going to do is go over into explore table items here, and we'll go ahead and just add some items. And I'm almost certain that AWS is going to change this UI, even though they just recently changed it, but whatever, that's fine. Just say one, and then add another attribute here called fruit, and we'll just say apple, and I'll go ahead and create that item. So not a lot of data there, but we have something to work with. And so I'm going to go back over to here. I'm going to give this a refresh, and we'll choose our new table. So we have create backup now. That's a great idea. Move backups from warm to cold storage. Available for CloudFormation DynamoDB with advanced features. Some resource types convert incremental backups, full backups. So I imagine that this would be a cost-saving feature. Lifecycle, according to specify, cold storage is not available for backups with lifecycle less than 90 days. I mean, yeah, okay, by default. So I'm assuming this is a cost-saving feature. Notice we have a retention period, so how long we want to hold on to for this. I'm going to just say for 1 day. Okay, notice it says warm storage. If we go back, let's say 91 days, and then maybe if we checkbox this. Okay, so then it shows us something here. So total retention must be set between 98 and 8 days. Okay, well, if I put 8 days here, sorry, what, 10? Oh, 98, maybe once 98. Oh, there we go, okay, great. So if this was 0, then it'd have to be a minimum 90 days. What if we put 1 here? That's be 91 days. All right. Well, hopefully that makes sense to you. I don't really care about it, but we'll go ahead and just change this, and I'll say 1 day. Since I really don't want to keep this around for longer than that, we're going to have to place it in a vault. I seem to have a default vault, so you can create a new one if you want. I'm going to leave it with that one. I'm going to stick with the default IAM roles. We'll create our demand backup. Since the IAM role does not have permissions to do that, I'm not sure why, because it's using the default role. So what's going on here? I'm going to try this again. There we go. So that makes no sense. Like, of course the default has enough permissions. So just have confidence in what you're doing, and you can work through these minor issues. So here it is beginning the backup. So what I'm curious about is if we go over to DynamoDB, into our table here, we go to backups, is it creating a backup here? So we don't have any backups turned on here. Okay, and so what I want to find out is when this is done, this backup, will it appear in here, or is it completely isolate? Okay, so we'll just wait till then. All right, so our backup job is complete. Let's go ahead and click into it and see what we can see. So yeah, I mean, it says it's done. We'll go back over to the jobs. Yeah, so not much to look at there. We'll go back to our dashboard, see what else we can see here. Nothing interesting. Let's go to backup vaults. Let's click into our vaults. So here we can see our database, and if we wanted to, we could restore it. So that's kind of interesting. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's go over to here and see what we'll see over to here. Notice that we do not see backups. Oh, nope, there it is. Okay, great. So the backup will be reflected in both of them, so that is great. So now my question is, what would happen if I deleted my table completely and I wanted to restore it? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete my table. I'm going to say confirm. And we'll go ahead and do this. So now that table should be gone. Right, we'll go back to DynamoDB tables. And so now we have no tables, right? Status unknown, not sure why it's showing that. We'll go ahead and try to delete this again. I'm going to go ahead and say delete. Just want to make sure it's gone. I don't know why AWS's console is lying to us here today, but it is deleted, okay? So let's say we want to go ahead and restore that. I'm going to go back over to our backup vaults. I'm going to click into here, and let's go ahead and say restore. And so we'll say my new DDB table. Fun. I'll just put some numbers here on the end. And we'll go down below. I'll go ahead and hit restore backup. And so now we're restoring. We'll see what happens, okay? I guess while we're waiting for that to create, we can go over here and take a look at what's happening at DynamoDB. As I imagine, the table would be provisioning. So yeah, I don't see it as of yet, but we'll just have to, oh, it says it's done. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. And so I'm looking for that table, but I don't see it. Click into this again. How would we see our restorations? Dashboard, job dashboard, restores. It doesn't say that anything is done here, but we definitely initialized a restore here. So is there a bit of a delay? Okay. Interesting. I'm just wondering if I should try it again, because if I try it again, it might end up restoring it twice, and that might not make any sense. So I'm just going to wait a little bit and then see what happens, okay? Before we do anything else. Well, you know what? I went over to jobs here, and I went into restore jobs, and it looks like it's actually still running. So I guess it's not 100% done, and I just got confused by that other status. So I guess we'll just keep waiting for this to complete, okay? All right, so it looks like that job is complete. We'll go over back to DynamoDB, and we'll take a look at our tables and see what we have. So we have our new table, so there we go. Another thing that we could try to do is go back over to our dashboard and create a backup plan, as that is another way of going ahead and doing this. We have some templates here. I don't necessarily want to retain this for 35 days. So I'm going to go ahead and build a new plan. I'll just say my backup plan. And down below it says my backup rule. So I'm going to go to the default vault. I want this to backup daily, I suppose. Okay, we'll just say backup rule once a day. And then we have our window. Starts within 8 hours. I don't care. Completes within whatever. We can have continuous backups. I don't care about that. We can enable cold storage. I don't care about that. I'm going to place this to 1. And then we might want to copy this to a destination if we want to back this up somewhere else. Don't really want to do that here today, but we could send it to somewhere like CA Central, so somewhere else. And then we have some advanced options. We'll go ahead and create our plan. It says, so has been successfully created. You can now add additional schedule rules and assign resources to your backup plan. So just because we have our backup plan does not mean that it is executed. So we'll go over to jobs and where is this? I would have thought we would create it here. Let's go into our backup plan and click into it. So yeah, we have this rule. Okay. But how do we know when this job is going to execute? And maybe it's based off of when we told it to. So if we go ahead and edit this here, specify the time of day the backup will start. So I'm right now in Toronto time, and it is 1:06. And if we're at this time, I'm going to go here and say 13. And I'm going to put it at 08 here. At the specified time, complete within 2 hours. So I'm being very particular in terms of when I want this to start. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay, and so the idea is that this should trigger, I would think, at that time, because this is now all set up. But it'd be nice just to queue up a job, but I thought we could do that, but maybe we can't. And these reports do not trigger a job, no. So what I'll do is I'll just wait a few minutes here and see if a job gets triggered, and that's what I want to find out, okay? All right, so here's the thing is that, yes, we have a schedule for that backup, but notice that it says that there is a way to do on-demand backups. So that makes me keep thinking that that is triggered somewhere. So Just give me a moment to figure that out. Well, you know what I'm thinking is that the only way we can create an on-demand backup is through that option there. And so I don't think there's any way around that. And so basically on-demand backups is when you want it right away. Backup plans is when you want it on a schedule. But I would like to see that trigger. Now, I was suggesting that it can't do a deploy or it can't do a backup when it is within the same window as your maintenance window. So I don't think that is our issue because I don't really know where a maintenance window is here. But what I'm going to do is just change this rule. I'm going to just say to backup hourly, and that's what I wanted to do, okay? And now this kind of doesn't really matter because we're going to be backing it up so frequently. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to have to basically walk away from my computer for an hour and at least, and then see what happens, okay? Because there's no other way around this for us to see if this backup works. So I'll see you back here in a bit. Of course, if you don't want to wait around, you can obviously just watch this video and see what the outcome is, but I'll see you back here in an hour, okay? All right, so I noticed this wasn't triggering, and we forgot something very obvious, which is to actually assign any resources. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So I'll go ahead here and just say my database, and the idea is that we can include specific resource types. So here I want to say DynamoDB. DynamoDB. Okay, and then I'm going to just choose our tables. I want to be very specific and just choose this table here. Exclude specific resource IDs from a specific resource type. No, and we'll go ahead and assign those resources. And now the idea is that we should see a backup occur. When that will occur, I'm not sure, as our backup window has changed. Just to kind of help it out, I was thinking to change the time, but I don't think this actually matters now. So I'm going to just change this to once an hour so it better reflects what it's doing here. And so hopefully now at some point we'll see this trigger. So I'm going to have to wait for that to happen, and I'll be back in another hour and hopefully something's going to happen, okay? All right, so I've waited a while. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a refresh here, and now we can see we have a backup job. So definitely created one at whatever time that is. And so that was successful. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just delete my backup plan as I did what I was able to do here, which I'm happy with. My backup plan, what was it called? My backup plan. There we go. We'll delete that. It says related to backup selection must be deleted prior to the backup plan deletion. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what they mean there. Maybe they're talking about the backup rules. I really don't know what that means. You must delete a backup plan only after all associated selections of resources have been deleted. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So we'll go back over to here and we'll just unassociate our resources. So we'll say delete my database here. There we go. And so now we can go ahead and delete this. Say my backup plan. There we go. Excellent. And I'll go over to DynamoDB and just get rid of this table as it's a junk table. Delete. Confirm. Delete. The other question is, do we have any of these backups? I mean, they're going to persist for some time. So, again, just looking for them. And yeah, we can go ahead and delete that there. So just go ahead and delete that. And hopefully I've gotten rid of everything, but yeah, there you go. That is AWS Backups.